Canelo's going to be facing Munguia. I know a lot of people wanted to David Benavidez fight.
Yeah.
Is this fight, as a fight fan, satisfy you? And do you think this is a good fight?
No, I think it's a good fight. What I love to see him fight Benavidez, that's a fight I want to see. That's a fight that I think is really going to test him. And he could beat Canelo. I'm not saying that he will, but I'm saying that's a fighter that I think could beat him. He has a style to beat him. But and I like Benavidez too. So he's a friend of mine. But do I think that Jaime Munguia and Canelo is a good fight? Yeah, I think that Munguia has a style to make it an entertaining fight while it lasts. But do I think Canelo going eventually catch up to him, maybe clip him? Yes.
Canelo didn't beat them world champions. I mean, I'm just going to say that he didn't beat those world champions by struggling. He clearly dominated a lot of those guys, and he tested his skills and went up to light heavyweight. I think he won a title, and then he had I think he fought another guy at light heavyweight, and he came up short. But I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. He's a future Hall of Famer, a hell of a fighter, and everybody runs their business different. So I wish him nothing but the best.
I'm just trying to find out if we can make Rolly and Devin. That's all I'm trying to find out.
Ooh, that's a good fight.
That's a good fight. I'm trying to make the Rolly and Devin.
That's a good fight. That's a good fight.
I'm trying to put that on because I got Canelo fighting in May, so I got Canelo fighting in September too. So
okay.
I can
can you squeeze them in?
We can put that right up. We can put that right on there.
What do you think of Canelo and Munguia, Bernard? What chance?
I think that's a fight where the now lion versus the lion that's I would say the future of the Mexican boxing or the Mexican history. And look, Canelo was young when he went up to fight Floyd. This is not nothing new in boxing, especially. The question will be if Munguia is ready for the test.
Right.
And we will see. What is his chances? His chances just as good as anybody else's chances that went up against Canelo that didn't get knocked out or didn't get beat bad. But this is now. Canelo has been on the throne for many, many years. To me, it doesn't seem like he's ready to leave. He haven't shown me anything that he's ready to leave, even with the loss. He got out-pointed, he got out-thought, and he got out-hustled. If Munguia do half of those things, he got a great shot of being the Mexican face of boxing.
Well, you said out-hustled. Canelo, he dominated Charlo, but he only threw about 25 punches around, 30 punches around.
So Charlo threw half of that.
Right.
You gotta understand. Well, half of that, half of what Canelo threw.
Right.
So that means that numbers count, and they do add up. As long as you know as long as your adding is up to par. If your adding is up to par, then you add the numbers correctly. And if it's not, then it won't be. But yeah.
Is that like a key for Munguia though?
The key for Munguia is to understand that he's the younger fighter. He's the most fresher fighter. And every talent that he has, he must execute them for the 12 or less rounds that he had been in that ring. Because Canelo know all the tricks, Canelo know all the moves. He's a veteran. Canelo earned that. He earned that by fighting great fighters leading up to where he's at now. But is the lion of yesterday, but still sits in the chair today, is ready to be taken by the lion, the young lion, now. So we're dealing with that. And as we get close, it's going to get pretty interesting, and more questions is going to be asked, I'm pretty sure.
Well,
I'm pretty sure.
You were one of the greatest defensive fighters of all time. Is Munguia's defense good enough to beat Canelo?
It will have to be.
Right. But
it will have to be.
from what you've seen, does that have to take a step up for this fight?
No, I just think the way that Munguia fought other fighters, he cannot fight. He cannot approach Canelo that way. I'll say he first take a look at fights that Canelo struggled with. Even in victory, he got to look at those fights where Canelo struggled with and learn from those lessons. There's a blueprint out there for anyone to get beaten. It just take the right fighter, athlete to be able to make that own key and be the master of that lock to open it.
Let me ask you this, Bernard.
Let's see if Munguia has that opportunity. I mean, he got the opportunity. That says he have that IQ and patience to be able to go ahead and pick that lock, like some have. Not too many. Some have.
What do you see as the keys to picking the lock with Canelo? Do you not want to share that, or is it the jab in particular, or what?
Got to be smart.
You know, you can't complain when you got Canelo, you know, defending his title against another undefeated fighter. I mean, just this continuation from that card to this card. I mean, what's your overall reaction when you heard all these cards were being made?
Well, I'm really excited for the Canelo Munguia fight. It's a good opportunity for Canelo to really make a big statement come next Saturday night on Cinco de Mayo in front of all his fans around the world. He's taking on, obviously, Jaime Munguia, which should be a very, very entertaining bout. We know Munguia's style is come forward, and the way I see it, just going one way, Canelo's gonna light his ass up. And I fully expect this fight to end in a knockout, and it'll be something that the fans can really get excited about.
You know, with you kind of always had these really good looming predictions, right? The Tim Tszyu fight with Keith Thurman originally, you were kind of like, don't count out Keith Thurman. And when Pandora came in, you were like, guys, this is going to be a good, serious fight. Are you essentially just taking your word from that card to this? Even though you have Canelo winning, it should be a pretty exciting, action-packed fight leading into that, would you say?
The Canelo fight? Yeah, no, he knocking his ass out.
Oh, okay.
There ain't no ifs, ands, buts about it. He knocking Munguia ass out. He's tailor-made for him, in my opinion. And this will be one of Canelo's better performances actually in his career.
Yeah.
So switching gears a little bit, in a couple weeks here we got Canelo Munguia. What are your thoughts on that fight, and how do you see it playing out?
Well, you know, in my last few years of calling fights on HBO, I nurtured and curated Munguia's career. He was a rising force at the time who became an attraction on HBO because he was the most exciting kind of fighter. The most exciting kind of fighter is somebody who hits and gets hit. You mentioned Pitbull Cruz. Hits and gets hit. And that's really what novice fans most want to see. So Munguia hits and gets hit. And for a long time, Canelo seemed dismissive of him. Seemed to be saying, you know, what's the point of fighting Munguia? He's not really a serious competitor. Now he has chosen to fight against Munguia. And that tells us that Canelo trusts his chin. I think his chin is maybe the best in the sport, and believes that he can prove that chin against a guy whose real chance to beat him is not that he's going to outbox him, but that he's going to hurt him. So I think Munguia would have to hurt Canelo to beat him. I think Canelo is probably not in a situation yet where he would be vulnerable to that, and I think that Canelo winds up getting a victory that adds to his resume as he continues to build credibility while he fends off the public's desire for him to fight David Benavidez.
Munguia fight though coming up. Does Munguia have a shot? He's a young power, he's swinging, he's hitting, he got Freddie in the corner now. He's now got a shot?
I think maybe in 3 years, when I'm saying about David Benavidez, maybe in 3 years I can say that about Munguia. It's perfect timing for Munguia. He ain't ready. I hate to, make it sound that way, but I just don't think Munguia, he gets hit, no defense, leaves his head on the line. What more do you want to say? I mean, Canelo been fighting guys that can move. Canelo been fighting guys that got defense, that know how to survive. Munguia's way of surviving is fighting. And at the end of the day, it's a fun fight to watch because we want to see the action. You know?
But to beat Canelo, you have to go through the fire and put it all on the line because I mean Triple G has been the only one, honestly, and John Ryder of recent date that went toe-to-toe Mexican style. They got the chins. Munguia got a chin as well. He's young and he's strong. Body work, like when you see he could face Canelo and get him out of there.
Who, David?
No, Munguia.
Munguia? The timing? I don't know.
By the way, I think he wants.
I don't know. I don't think he got enough strength.
Do you think he gets it done against Munguia, or you think Munguia is going to be a little too young and too fresh?
Boy, it's an interesting fight because it's for me it's 50-50 because Munguia has his chance, the opportunity of his life in that night to become undisputed world champion, and Canelo he had to put a lot of effort to continue to be the current champion and undisputed.
But if you had to put your money on it, who would you put your money on?
Boy, I don't like bet. That's a good thing. I don't like bet, and I mean, as a fan, I just want to see the fight.
So obviously we have a big fight this weekend with Canelo Alvarez and Jaime Munguia. You've been in a ring with both guys. You've had Daniel Jacobs take on Canelo Alvarez. You've had Sergey Derevyanchenko recently take on Munguia in the controversial fight, that fight of the year. What were your assessments taking on both guys on several occasions?
Well, these were very entertaining fights, and they were very close fights. I mean, really, really close. I thought Danny could have definitely won the Canelo fight if he would have started a little bit quicker. In the home stretch, he was really on point and phenomenal. Sergey was, I mean, we had Munguia basically out. One more clean, sharp, well-placed shot, and I think the referee would have stopped the fight. But it was very close going down the line, and unfortunately, we had a knockdown in the last round, which Sergey boxed his way out of. And I still thought, if anything, it should have been a draw. But Sergey, as you do know, he gets no love. They don't give him anything remotely close if it is close. So we had to move on from that.
Gotcha. I think he just wanted to say goodbye real quick.
Sobrino, mañana? No. Wednesday, okay.
Be good, brother. So since you know both guys extremely well, how exactly do you see this fight playing out? Is it 50-50, 75-25? You think it's a one-sided fight? What do you think, man?
Well, I mean, I like the youth and the tenacity of Munguia, but he's in there with one of the kings of the ring right now. And Canelo, I think he knows he has to dispatch Munguia. He has to get him out of there to bring his relevance rating back up. Everyone's saying that, oh, he's slipping, he's sliding, he's going down the pole and this, that, and the other thing. So he's going to have to bring a truly impressive performance to the table, and I think he's going to do that.
What exactly can Munguia do to kind of get that upset? Is there anything that you saw in several of your encounters with him? Because like I said, you took him on with Derevyanchenko, Torino Johnson, and a few other guys. So is there anything that he can do in particular to win this fight against Canelo?
He's going to have to not make mistakes. That's the first thing. And the second thing is he's going to have to move that head of his all night long. And he's not very good with moving his head. He wants to come and fight, which is going to be to his detriment against someone like Canelo.
Is there any worry from the Canelo side in terms of, you know, maybe like, I wouldn't say age necessarily because he's about 33, 34, which isn't entirely old, but he does have 64 fights under his belt. Can you see him possibly fading during the second half if Munguia can get him in?
No, not at all. Let me tell you why. He's been in so many fights. He knows what the parameters are for winning, and I don't think this is going to be the time where he says, you know what, I'm going to slip and fall and not be the Canelo that everybody's expecting me to be. He's a consummate professional. He knows what it's all about. And I think you're going to see an outstanding performance by Canelo.
You gave Jaime Munguia his toughest fight today. Obviously, he's fighting Canelo next. How do you think that fight plays out?
Oh, this is good question. I think is favorite for Canelo favorite in this fight, but it's Munguia is good boxer. He have heart. He every time is fighting, and we'll see. It is a great fight.
What's his power like? Can you describe his power?
Yeah, he has power.
Like, is he the most powerful guy you've ever faced, or
no?
Who is the most powerful guy?
Golovkin is most powerful.
So I was gonna say you're one of the few guys that face both guys. So you feel Golovkin hits harder than Munguia. So do you think Golovkin hit Canelo and Canelo took it? Do you think Canelo will be able to take Munguia's power?
Yeah, I think yeah.
Mabel, I have to ask you, having faced Canelo for 24 rounds in his prime, what do you think about what's going on with him and his upcoming fight with potentially Jaime Munguia? What do you think?
I love what Canelo's done since we fought him. Okay, his resume speaks for itself, personally. I think we beat him both times, but that's my opinion. I think that I would have liked to have seen Jaime 2 fights with Freddie. I would have loved to have seen him 2 fights with Freddie, because after 2 fights, they kind of get in the same groove. Although he looked great against Ryder, Freddie did a great job. But I would have liked to have seen 2 fights. But when the offer comes, a young man like Munguia with that many fights, everybody expects him to take a step. And I hope it gets made. I don't know if they're going to announce it yet, but I predicted that 2 weeks ago that was the most interesting fight for Canelo.
And we got Canelo versus Munguia coming up. Your homie Canelo. How do you think that fight plays out?
I think that fight's gonna be good. I think Canelo's gonna. I know he's gonna win. I think he's gonna counter punch Munguia a lot of times. But like I said, you can't underestimate no fighter. You can't underestimate Munguia. He's a Mexican. He's a warrior. He takes a lot of punishment. He can take a punch, and he's young, and he's hungry too. So I feel it's gonna be an exciting fight.
Cinco de Mayo, but Oscar keeps talking about the changing of the guard. A young guy in Munguia, with Freddie now, kind of maybe fresh start with Freddie. Young, powerful, young legs. How do you see that fight going?
Well, Munguia is a very strong kid. I had one of my guys spar with him for his last fight against Ryder, and does he have some strong legs, strong back? Strong fighter, man. He's young also. So yes, that's a very positive thing to think about him. But Canelo's just in a different level. I think it's already a win for Munguia. Getting that fight, Munguia, Sanford, Fernando Beltran, and his promotion, Golden Boy, everybody already won. That's a win. If you make it to fight somebody like Canelo, you already won. Munguia's gonna get the biggest payday of his career. Fernando Beltran is also gonna get a chunk of it. Golden Boy's gonna get a chunk of it. So they already won. I think Canelo wins. Will Munguia put up some good rounds? Does Munguia have a heart to go out there and try and do whatever it takes to win? Yes, he does. I just think Canelo's just in a different level, and Canelo's gonna win. But man, you don't lose there. You already won. It's what when Mayweather was fighting, everybody getting the opportunity to fight Mayweather pretty much already hit the jackpot, because they're gonna make the biggest payday of their careers.
So even Robert, even after what we saw this past weekend, nobody expected Ryan. He had kind of the one-trick pony with the left hook. You don't think Munguia can catch Canelo?
Well, I don't see Munguia drinking and smoking. So if he was drinking and smoking, maybe he could do it.
Right. Yeah,
you know what? Ryan is just special, man. It's just one in a million. What he could get away with. I think Munguia, obviously, there's always that chance, a good punch. Canelo's already up there in age, already had a lot of fights, a lot of training camps. I'm not saying wars because I don't think Canelo's ever been in a war, but he's had a lot of training camps, sparring matches, gain up and down in weight, stuff like that. All that takes a lot out of your body, especially later in your career. But I think Canelo's still very dedicated. He's still very disciplined. So I think he still has a lot left and enough to beat Munguia. Would I love to see Munguia win? I would love to see him win. I would love to see him because, after Canelo, we do need another Mexican superstar. We already have Pitbull, where people love Pitbull, and people are going to follow Pitbull's career for many, many, many more years. But Munguia is right there too, So if he was to pull it off, that would be great for him.
I mean, obvious question. What you think about this fight this week in Canelo Munguia, first of all?
I think it's a good fight. I think Munguia is long and strong and young. I think if he have a similar style like Bebo, he can give Canelo some trouble. But I think Canelo knows what he's up against.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough fight. How do you think it goes, though? Do you think you got Canelo? You think it's a knockout?
Maybe a split, but I do think that Jaime, sometimes when he gets mad, he gets a little excited and starts throwing really hard punches. And I think that if he does that with Canelo, he may get caught if it's too early.
But do you think Jaime has a shot in this fight, or are you solid on Canelo?
He got a shot.
Yeah.
That's why I say I got Canelo by split, so that means,
Oh, Canelo by split, my bad. Okay, cool. Gotcha.
Canelo Munguia, what's your expectations for fight night, dog?
I know Jaime's gonna come to fight, and I feel like he's gonna lay it all on the line. But in the end, I feel like he might get caught. And he's new to the division, or pretty new, and that might be his downfall. I think he might get clipped. But I'm a fan of Jaime. I think he's a great fighter. But I don't think he's well-rounded enough to not get caught for 12 rounds.
How exactly do you see it playing out? Do you see Munguia actually getting the stoppage against Canelo? Or?
Yes, I do.
And nobody's ever hurt him? Nobody's ever dropped him?
No, he's been hurt before.
Maybe once against Miguel Cotto.
Oh, gee, come on. Now it's only once.
I'm just saying. But in terms of the actual fight, is Munguia the most difficult style for Canelo as opposed to like a David Benavidez?
Maybe not the most, but I know his style will give him trouble, and we look forward to fighting his fight. We signed the contract one day out. So that's how bad we wanted that fight.
Is Canelo, in your view, is he the same guy he always was, or has he,
I think he's faded a little bit, but we'll find out.
Freddie, real quick, you always give like a round prediction for Munguia's fights. Do you have like a round where you think you'll end up stopping Canelo?
No.
Tune in, you'll find out.
He came to my gym one day and he knocked on my door and I said, who the fuck is this guy? And I didn't expect it to be him. And it was him. And you know what? They tell me he's lazy. He's got no defense. And all that bullshit was bullshit. He trains his ass off every day. He works every day. And he's a very good fighter.
But you're expecting a knockout 100% though.
Well, I'm not expecting a knockout, but the thing is, I think he can knock out that opponent, yes. I mean, I got a lot of work ahead of me. I know that. I mean, I'm back to work with him tomorrow.
Gotcha.
So he sparred 3 days last week. So he's doing okay, and I got a couple guys that came from Benavidez, from the other guy's camp. So they have that style.
Gotcha.